Yesterday I told you about my 10 favorite Star Wars figures to play with as a kid. Well, today I'm going to tell you about my favorite accessory for the Star Wars figures, be it playsets or ships or whatever. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Junkman. Everybody's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video of 10 things I loved as a kid when it came to Star Wars. Yesterday I told you about the 10 favorite Star Wars figures. These are the ones as a kid that I had when I was playing Star Wars. These are the ones usually I was grabbing first and play with because I loved them. So if you didn't see that video, check that out. It's the video before this one. But this one we're going to talk more about play sets and accessories, not just play sets, ships, whatever you could use the figures with. It was a lot of fun, and boy, do I got some of them for you today. It was a lot of fun. So again, this top 10 list isn't really in order. I love them too much to even put them in order. And let's just talk about the Tonton Time. Now, I didn't have the open belly Tonton. I don't even think I remember it being a thing when I was a kid. I guess we bought one Tonton, a lot, waste our money on another Tonton. But I had a Tonton. I don't know why I didn't have two. I mean, Luke and Han. But I can remember at least have one. We might have had two. But Tonton was my go-to, especially if I was playing anything Hoth related. I had to grab a Tonton. Who didn't love the Tonton? I love you could put the figure on the inside of it. Now, I don't know about you, but I lost the saddle on the range and everything, so it was just a naked Tonton, which I think a lot of people just had a naked Tonton. I know a lot of kids that had a naked Tonton. Believe me, kids had naked Tontons. You lost that quite a bit. The other thing, speaking of Hoth, was the Imperial attack base, which should be called Imperial Attack the Base or something. But I know this one gets some kind of bump. People talk bad about this one sometimes, but I love this. Had a little cabin thing you could put. It was like Darth Vader's house. You could put Darth Vader in it and push a button, it would blow up or fall over. It had an ice bridge. I don't remember ice bridge in the movie, but you hit the button, the ice bridge would cave in. Had a lot of features. Had that machine gun where you I love that. Oh man, did I love the Imperial attack base. I love that one. And while we're talking Hoth, I didn't realize I liked so much stuff related to Hoth, but when it comes to, there wasn't many good playsets with Hoth, but there was good vehicles. But Empire, Jedi seemed like it really didn't have much at all, but we'll get to that. The AT-AT. How could you not love the AT-AT? Now, you could play it with like Endora play. I played it all over the place. One time I played like the AT-AT was running down the halls of the Death Star when I was a kid. So yeah, I love the AT-AT. This thing was awesome. It had the chin guns, had a little cockpit where you could put figures, and had a little side panel where you could put figures. This thing was amazing as a kid. I'm sure if you had an AT-AT, trust me, you loved it. If you didn't have it and your friend down the road had it, you were jealous. You don't want to admit it, but you were jealous. You were jealous of little Timmy. He had an AT-AT. It was awesome. But we're talking about Return of the Jedi stuff. The only thing I really put on this list for Return of the Jedi would be the speeder bike. Unless you count Jabba Hutt as a playset. I don't. I get you count the base part, but it's not really that fun. Speeder bike. I talked about in the other video. Speeder bike was awesome. Push the button, blow it apart. It was just a lot of fun. It was small, so you could take it with you. I like stuff you could take with you. Your parents are like, hey, let's ride down to Revco and let's go to Belts. Hey, I can bring a Star Wars toy with you. So, we didn't have an iPad to bring in the car, so I would bring a speeder bike. It was always a lot of fun. But I lost those little flaps on the back. Remember those little flaps on the back? I lost them day one. Flaps day one. They were gone. But there was really no good places. I know you had the Ewok Village. You never had it. I was kind of out of it by the time that came out. There was real no standout playset for Return of the Jedi, at least to me. And then we have the X-Wing. Come on, you couldn't have Star Wars figures. If you had Star Wars figures and you didn't have the X-Wing, you're a loser. That was like the go-to ship. It wasn't that expensive compared to the other ones. It was Luke, so you could put anybody in it. It was awesome. I love to push the R2 down, the wings pop open. You hit that button, it makes that drill sound that the laser gun makes, the Han Solo pistol, everything made that sound. The Falcon made that sound. Oh, I loved it. You put your wings in asphalt position. Love that thing. I could play with that thing for hours. Let it crash. It wouldn't break. This was a toy from the 70s and 80s. It wouldn't break. You could throw it off the bed. Try that today with the one. You pay double price for it. It'll break time you dropped it. So we have the X-Wing and the Land Speeder. That was my another go-to. Before the speeder bike, it was like, get something to take in the car, get the land. I love the Land Speeder. I used to take the board. You remember board games? You unfold the board game like a Monopoly board game. I would fold it in half and then lay it up against something like that, so make a ramp out of it and send that Land Speeder up and down. Have been jumping all over the place. Again, it didn't break. Oh man, I love that you could open the hood. Well, in UK you couldn't open the hood, but I love You could open the hood, see the engine inside. Always have somebody working on it. Have R2 and his little Jawa friend working on it. I love the land speeder. Was awesome. It would go so fast. Man, I loved it. We had a big hill by our house. I used to let it go down that hill. One time we went in the drain. It went in the little drain thing. What is that called? Drain out. You know, little where the water runs. I had to crawl down there and get it. Good thing I didn't see a dang clown trying to give me a balloon. Oh, love that. And then you have the Cantina playset. I'll get it over here. I love that. That was awesome. I love the Cantina playset, man. It was like a bar, man. They sold a bar playset to kids. I had these little, you could stand them up, hit the little button, make them fall over, sound like a gunshot. Really, it didn't. Had a table. They just act like they were eating at the table, but the table was about didn't even come to their knees. They were standing. I don't know, but I had the swinging cowboy doors. You hit the button, the doors swing open. Oh, this thing was awesome. I don't know why it didn't come with a bartender. I had to use Obi-Wan Kenobi as the bartender on mine until I think I remember starting to put a Lobot back there a couple of times. But man, who's running the bar over here on this one? Oh, look who's running the bar on this one. Belosh. Oh, Belloc. Sorry about that. And then we got, of course, the Death Star. How could I leave this off the list? This is, as a collector, that's my favorite. But it seemed like we must have broke it or lost it, because by the time Empire or halfway through Empire, I don't remember playing with it anymore. So we must have broke it. But the Death Star, 3 levels. We're talking the USA Death Star, man. 3 levels. The elevator shaft. I used to let them fall down the elevator shaft. Oh my God, the elevator's not in the shaft. Well, fall into a trash compactor, turning, the walls close in on them. Oh, I had the light bridge. They refer to it in the movies, the light bridge. You can swing across, although I lost swing on day 1 like most of us. The cannon at the top, blow the cannon up. Oh my God, it was hours and hours of fun. The Death Star. And although the Death Star was fun, it wasn't as good as this. Now, this wasn't in order, but this might have to be number 1, because not only is it a ship, it's a playset. It was 2 in 1. And of course, without a doubt, we're talking the Millennium Falcon. It's iconic. Again, like you had to have an X-Wing, you had to have the Falcon. Come on, I know it costs a little bit more, so maybe you tell me to get it. And I'm sorry if you didn't get it. I feel so sorry for you if you didn't have a Falcon. It was awesome. Open the back of it, had a little place you could play with your balls. Your training ball, your Jedi ball thing. Come on, get your mind out of the gutter. You're sick. Disgust me. So had a little compartment where you could hide them, under the floor. Had a chess table where they would stand up. Chess table came in about the ankles, but you could still play chess. Had a little gunner station. For some reason they were upside down. You put them in the gunner station and they were upside down. I guess they're supposed to represent the bottom cannon part. I don't know. There's only one cannon. Had the cockpit that opened. You put your figures in. They would fit. It wasn't like in the 90s when we released the Falcon and you could put your Power of the Force 2 figures in there, Chewbacca and Han, and they wouldn't even fit in it, even if you squeeze their legs together. You had to get some vice grips and throw them and push them in there. The Falcon was awesome. Oh my God, the Falcon was awesome. And it had the handle on the bottom like this. The landing gear was like a handle so you could fly it around real easy. The Falcon. Give me a time machine so I can go back in time and play with the Falcon, please. Please, somebody. Oh my God, where's the dial of destiny when we need it? So I can play with the Falcon and have it crash into the Death Star. Anyway, that's a look at 10 playsets, ships, sessions, whatever you want to call it, that I love the most. And what a great time to grow up. Am I right? Did you grow up in the 80s? You have to miss a great time. Sorry, kids that grew up in the 90s. Oh, we grew up in the 90s. We had Rugrats and Doug. You're Doug. Bye, guys. We'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.